You would just have to, great. And then I think
Yeah.
as long as there's a way for you all to access that cloud to download it, put it on your YouTube and all that.
Well, that's
Okay,
clearly
yes.
since I couldn't even get into the Zoom, that's clearly above my pay grade, but I'm sure someone on the board will figure that out.
Oh yeah, no worries. Sounds good. Um, right. Yeah, so I'll just give a quick kind of intro. So this is a development activities meeting. Thank you everyone for joining tonight. Thank you to the Southside Slopes Neighborhood Association for helping lead the moderation here. My name is Thomas Scharf from the neighborhood planner from City of Pittsburgh for Southside Slopes neighborhood. Development activities meeting is basically an opportunity when there's a development activity of a significant enough threshold that it's going to a board or commission and meets specific criteria. Then the Southside Slopes Neighborhood Association, as the registered community organization for the Slopes neighborhood, they kind of play this formal role in channeling community input about the project through this meeting in coordination with city planning, in which the applicant or the developer presents what they're seeking to do, what their requests are for any boards or commissions. And usually that's like sharing some photos and visuals, and then there's a chance for Q&A and comments from the community. So I will be taking notes as take a neutral staff report of any questions and comments, and then that gets sent to the relevant board or commission, which in this case, my understanding is would be zoning board of adjustment for what is a review similar to a kind of falls under the broader umbrella of a use variance, is my understanding. So, but I'll let the applicant Devin speak to that. And with that, I'll pass it back to you, Gavin, if you'd like to share anything about the slopes.
Great. Yeah. So my name is Gavin Robb. I'm the chair of the zoning committee of the Southside Slopes Neighborhood Association. Been on the board for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 years now. And we are comprised of the entire Southside Slopes neighborhood, really starting on Josephine Street and going up towards in the various directions, Arlington, Knoxville, Allentown, sort of surrounded by those different neighborhoods. We have a board that's comprised of maybe 8 or 9 people at any given time. I think we're a little light right now, but one of our roles is to make sure the community is informed about, as Thomas said, these sorts of applications that come through that potentially impact the neighborhood, that meet the threshold for a registered community organization. This being a proposed use variance on Arlington Avenue does meet those criteria in that geographic location. So really, I think we want to turn it over to Devin and just kind of hear what exactly the plan is, kind of how he believes that the property meets the criteria for the use variance he's requesting, and then maybe just be available to answer some questions if there are some from the folks who maybe in and around that area. And if you have any visuals or you need to share your screen or just kind of describe things for us, we're happy to try to facilitate that. So with that said, Devin, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for having me. My property at 2501 Arlington Avenue, I'm trying to get it set up as a 2-unit family household. No construction has been done. My house was constructed in like 1880, and it was constructed as a stacked duplex. So I'm not doing any construction as far as splitting it apart. I can share the visuals with you guys. It's a entrance at the first level, and then you go downstairs and it's another entrance. It's from when it was built, you can tell, like, if you came over it, it was designed to be a duplex. I guess I could show you some of you guys some of the pictures if I could share it with you guys.
Sounds great. Thank you.
I couldn't hear that. Say that again.
Oh, I just said that. That sounds great. Are you able to share screen, or does it?
Yeah, it says only the host can share in this meeting. So I guess if you could allow me to share, I think there's that option. There we go.
Oh, I think Gavin, you're on mute.
Yeah, I got you as a co-host now, Devin, so you should be good.
Okay. All right. I'm picking some pictures you can see. Hold on, give me 1 second.
And Devin, while you're pulling that up, are you the is your relationship to the building, you're the owner?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
I am.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, this picture right here, this is the entrance to the first unit. As you can see, on the left-hand side, you see the 2501. That's another one. That's the picture with the zoning board notice. Now this is the downstairs entrance. The property was already purchased with 2 electrical meters, as you can see on the left-hand side. And up top you see the 2501. It's kind of dark, but that's the downstairs entrance to the second apartment. That's this is a wide shot, so you can see the first entrance, and then you see the second entrance down below. And this is I don't know if you get this will help, but this is a picture of the back door to the top apartment, and this is the second exit to the downstairs apartment. So them are the pictures that I wanted to show you guys on that.
I think that's helpful, Devin, to kind of give us a better picture. It was tough to that wide shot in particular. You kind of get a better understanding of what you're trying to do here. Now, with the 2 meters that were already there, was this previously used as a 2 unit at some point?
Honestly, I'm not sure. When I purchased it, I purchased it off of Zillow. It said it was set up as a set up as a duplex, but obviously it's zoned as a 1. When I purchased it, like the electricity was on downstairs, but nobody was occupying it. But the upstairs unit was occupied.
Okay. And what you said, you're not planning on any construction or improvements to it, just aside from getting it cleaned up generally?
Yes, as far as like splitting it, like anything architecturally, no, just cosmetic, getting it updated to be livable.
Is there any parking, any off-street parking there? Is it all on street up on Arlington in that part?
I believe it's on street. On it, if I could share again, I wanted to share.
Sorry. No problem. All right. Should be good now.
Okay. This I'm not sure if this spot right here could be considered as parking for my house, but other than that, it's there is no off-street parking besides this piece of land right here next to the property.
Is there a curb cut there, or is it just kind of a wide sidewalk?
Explain. What do you mean by curb cut?
Is it is it sort of like a driveway, like a ramp up to the side, parking pad or sidewalk area? Is it just still a regular curb?
It's a regular curb.
Okay, got it. Okay. Before we open it up to the public or any other board members who might have questions, is there anything else you wanted to show us or tell us, or why you're making the request, or any other thing that's unique, any unique property characteristics that create a hardship for you, that sort of things. I mean, those are the kind of questions you'll get asked by the zoning board. So I figure it's only fair to ask here.
Well, I think the uniqueness in the property is that it was constructed in the 1800s, the late 1800s. I believe it was constructed in the purpose to be a stacked duplex. I believe zoning didn't come out until 1923 in Pittsburgh. I'm not sure, but honestly, I just feel like the property was constructed to be a duplex. Honestly,
Have you done any research on the through the city? I know the city has a website about where you can search certificates of occupancy, historical certificates of occupancy. Have you checked on that at all to see if there might have been a time where it had been issued a CO for 2-unit, or sometimes the planning folks will tell you about the history, but sometimes you got to search yourself.
Okay. No, I haven't.
And that might be something worth checking into. I mean, again, it's the fact that there's 2 electrical thingamajiggers, seems to indicate that at least at one time, there were multiple. It was a sort of multi-family, but it's obviously with the history of some of these old houses in Southside, they all have a story to tell. So we don't always know, exactly how we got to this point. Okay, well, with that said, I'm going to go ahead. Mr. Fetzko, are you willing to take over host duties while we turn it over to both you, Coralie, and Peter has any questions or comments?
Yeah, I believe I can.
Thanks, buddy. I'm gonna do that for you. That way, if I have to step away, which I do here in a minute, you can maintain control. Coralie, I don't want to put that on you in your first meeting. Ace is he's money on the Zoom, so I figure he's my go-to guy. Peter, since you're the only quote unquote member of the public, do you want to start us off with any questions or comments for Devin here?
Sure. What the heck? By the way, while we're online here, I went to the Pittsburgh certificate of occupancy search website. Couldn't find a C of O for the property. That's not unusual that you can't find it in the search. But is this zoning hearing scheduled? Is it on the calendar?
It's on the calendar for December 14th.
December 14th. Okay, so I would encourage you before then to reach out, go to the PLI certificate of occupancy search, and I think there's a contact, PLI records at pittsburghpa.gov.
Let me write that down one second. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I wonder if I could put that in the if I could make a comment and just put it in the chat or something.
I got my notes up. What there it goes.
Let's try something. Let's see.
I just let go through.
There it went through. Thanks, Thomas.
Okay, yeah. If you go to that website, follow that link I just put in the chat, and then there's also it walks you through searching for a C of O, which there was not one readily available on the search, but it gives you contact info. Email the nice folks at PLI Records and ask them if they might have any certificates of occupancy in the archives. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but you want to get that settled for sure before your zoning hearing. And when you show up at the hearing, probably the very first question Alice Mittinger is going to ask you, she's the chair, and she doesn't mess around. Very first question.
Yeah, I've seen her videos.
Yeah, she's good. She's a real estate attorney, so she knows her stuff. But the very first thing she's going to ask you is, what is your hardship? Why are you seeking relief? So what would your answer be to that?
Why am I seeking relief for the others? My hardship is that I'm a new investor. I'm my whew, my hardship is that I'm a new investor, and this not going through would actually, it would crush me. Actually, that's my hardship.
Well, yeah. So you're thinking of what, living in one side and renting out the other, or renting
Well,
out both sides, or?
I'm a family of 5, so it'd be too small for me to live in. But this is my start into doing something different besides just punching a clock.
Okay, so it's an investment property.
Yes.
So ROI is not a hardship. So, and she's going to throw that at you. So just get ready for that.
Okay.
I would say, I mean, and I get it. In fact, I live in the slopes, and the house that I live in was once upon a time split into 2 separate units, 2 separate entrances. It only had 1 electric meter, so kind of ahead of the curve on that. But what happened over time was the zoning ordinance changed, and zoning ordinance is really a density ordinance. So at some point, I forget when exactly it was triggered in the slopes, the ordinance said, okay, all of you apartments and duplexes and triplexes and so forth, if you're existing at this time, and if you have a C of O for that use, duplex or triplex or, multifamily, you can hang on to those. But if you do not, the new zoning is single family detached, or whatever it is in your neck of the woods. So that was really a density control. So what you're effectively asking the zoning board to rule on is reversing this density control for your property. So they're going to ask you, or Alex is going to ask you, what is your hardship? And ROI is not an answer that's going to fly, most likely. I don't know if you have a real estate attorney that that you work with who can help you construct a legal argument for this, but I think you might have one. Especially with the 2 utilities existing, that kind of says, yeah, it was set up as this, maybe hasn't been used as that. And I would also encourage you to look around the neighborhood, like all of the neighboring buildings within, I don't know, a block or 2 radius of this property, to check out their certificates of occupancy and see if there are any that are multifamily or duplex or whatever. And if there are, which there very well could be, your argument could be something along the lines of, well, I'm not changing the complexion of the neighborhood because this was an existing thing, and so that could be your argument. But I'm not offering you legal advice. I'm not an attorney.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
But just trying to help you navigate this, because we've helped others do this. I'm an architect in my day job. We've helped others do this, navigate this. And I can tell you too, the change of use variance is a very high bar. They make it very difficult. They don't want folks to willy-nilly go through change of use situations, because you could go from residential to industrial, or it could change of things, and that's why zoning's there, to sort of keep the neighborhood in its lane. So anyway, I would encourage you to do those 2 things: to go check out the C of O search, see if you can get one for your property. If you can't, email them, ask for them to check the records, and then do the same for neighboring properties within a radius around this one. And if there are other multifamily properties, you'd want to raise that at the hearing and say that, look, I'm not changing I'm not proposing to change the neighborhood. I just, you know, want the occupancy of this building to reflect the way it was built back in
Mhm.
whatever.
Right.
That's my 2 cents. Wish you luck.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you on your input.
Coralie, Tom, any questions?
I don't really have any other questions. I think we've covered it
We're done.
pretty.
Devin, I want you to be aware that being that there is no OC in the record, and I'm sure Peter, the one thing that I didn't hear him say, and Peter's very astute in all of this. Once you do apply for this OC, the entire building will now have to reflect current ICC code. So if your stairway is not 36 inches, or it will have to be updated to reflect the current code for them to give you your occupancy. So I don't know what you plan on as far as, you know, rehab or alterations, what you have budgeted for that. But I would keep that in mind, that whenever that was built like that, if it had an OC and it's not on record, I am 99.9% sure that Pittsburgh License and Inspection is going to make you bring that to code that's current. So just also keep that in mind as far as moving forward with your plans, that you know, that may be some financial investment that you'll be looking at in the future.
Okay.
Anything else?
For me, no. I understand that part. That it'll have to be, everything will have to be brought up to code if allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great point, Andrew. I would say, so you said it was just a duplex, right? It was never a triplex or anything?
No, just two.
Well, so lucky you, duplex is a whole lot easier code-wise than
Yeah.
anything more. So, yeah, you'd want to take a look at the International Residential Code, IRC, and Pittsburgh's adopted the 2018 code. So you want to check that out and make sure you're in compliance with that. Maybe there's leftover construction that demises these two units. That's still good. Maybe it's not. Maybe you need to bump it up. But you know, the other provisions you're going to want to keep an eye on, or hire an architect to help walk you through what kinds of code required revisions you might need to undertake. But step one would be you'd need to get zoning to agree with your change of use variance first. So if they say yes, then this would be step two, to make sure the building's legal for that.
Okay.
Well, Devin, I wish you luck. Tom, Peter, good to see you.
Yeah.
Coralie, good to see
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, and thank you. And I'll just unless we have any additional comments, I was just going to add that Devin, we can connect as to let's touch base offline just to confirm the ZBA hearing date. I know normally it requires a 30-day period following this DAM. So we'll check in with kind of whenever that, in case it's the 14th, or if it needs to be potentially another day, but we'll confirm that. But I wanted to share the links here, just I'll put in the chat. So for any folks that are interested in kind of tracking on the ZBA when there's testimony It's pittsburghpa.gov/DCP/CBA. And then you can provide comment, or you can provide like written testimony for zoning board of adjustment to consider by emailing that email at zoningboard@pittsburghpa.gov, or you could attend the meeting itself and provide testimony. But that normally after development activities meeting, there's a 30-day period, and then the first board or commission hearing. So we'll confirm. Maybe we can follow up on the date for that, Devin.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering, being that this is recorded, I'll be able to rewatch this from the Zoom, or how would that work? Because I wanted to.
Sure.
Peter has dropped a couple jewels on me. I wanted to be able to go back over and rewatch them. I appreciate you,
Yeah.
Peter.
Absolutely, Devin. We can make that available for you. It's not a
I
problem.
appreciate that.
Just reach out to the association. Maybe after Thanksgiving, because we're so close. A lot of us are on vacation, so within the next couple of days, we'll be more than happy to share this with you. And I wish you good luck on your endeavor. And yeah, that curb cut might be nice. You could make sure you can pull a car over off Arlington. That'd be really cool.
Yeah,
But anyway, yeah. Anyway, good luck to you, Devin, and happy holidays to you all. I hope you have a safe and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time.
Thank you
Take care.
so much.
Good luck.
Take care. Have a good night.
Take care. Good night.